In this video, we'll talk about coordinate graphing or coordinate planes. So the reason it's called a coordinate plane is because this is the plane, just like a two-dimensional space, so a plane where I am plotting different points and I can draw shapes on this plane. So all of my 2D shapes would be drawn on a coordinate plane, which you can think of like a sheet of paper. So there's a lot of vocabulary that goes into this unit that we did, which was a short unit, but it has a lot of vocabulary. So for instance, quadrant. Quad means 4. So there are 4 different sections of the coordinate plane. There's first section, the second section, the third section, the fourth section. So it's split into 4 pieces. There's also this term an ordered pair. So an ordered pair is just the pair of numbers that tells me where it's going. So where those numbers are going on my coordinate plane. And then like I said, I might call this a coordinate graph too, or just a graph. So there's a couple of different terms that I might say that are somewhat interchangeable. Then there's the origin. So the origin, remember another word for origin is start, like the origin of life. You're talking about the start of life. So the origin is where I start. Where I start on my graph is right here at the center. And the origin is 0, 0. So I haven't done any directions yet. My numbers tell me where to go. The zeros, I'm just staying. So 0, 0. The x-axis is the horizontal axis. So the x-axis is the horizontal axis, which is another word I need to make sure I know what it means. The horizontal axis always goes first. So this is just like a number line. It gets more positive in this direction, more negative in this direction. So my horizontal axis is just like a number line. My y-axis is a vertical axis. That vertical axis goes up and down. This is just like a number line turned on its side. I find it helpful to think about a thermometer. So when you're looking at a thermometer, the more it goes up, the higher the numbers are. The more it goes down, the further negative they go. So this uses integers. This uses both positive and negative numbers. So the more positive goes this way, and just like I know on the other side of 0, it goes the more negative this way. More positive goes up, more negative goes down. I also sometimes need to know Roman numerals for coordinate planes because I happen to use Roman numerals in math. We use Roman numerals for a few very specific things, and coordinate planes are one of them. So I just want to remember my first 4 Roman numerals. So Roman numeral 1 looks like an I. Roman numeral 2 has 2. And Roman numeral 3 has 3 like tallies. The 4 is a little bit different. Roman numeral 5 is a V. That's what a Roman numeral 5 is. If I want to add a 1 onto that, I put it afterwards, and that would be 6. If I want to take 1 away, then I put it before. So putting an I and then a V, that means 4. So it would go, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, and 7 has 2 lines, 8 has 3 lines, and when I get to 9, I put the 1 in front again, and I put it in front of what the 10 is, which the 10 is an X. Okay, so it's good to know Roman numerals basically up to 10. Sometimes they're at the beginning of books, and they're lowercase with little 1, 2, 3, with little i's as opposed to capital I's. So it's just a good thing to be aware of. For knowing the order of the quadrants, remember that you can make a nice big C. Okay, so here I have it in orange, but in case you can't see it, I want to start up here, and I think, okay, this is a coordinate plane. I'm going to make a big C. So just a C like normal. And so I start up at the top, and the order that I draw my C is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's make a couple of points on my coordinate plane. And then we'll look for some patterns. So I have 4, 3, positive 4, positive 3. So just like a number, so I'm going to go horizontally first because I use number lines first. This is just a standard of mathematics. We always want to use the horizontal first. If we all just decided which one we wanted to do first, then we would end up with very different things. Okay, so maps would not work out so well. So we want to make sure that we're being consistent across the board. So I start by going horizontally. Another kind of fun trick that I've heard before is like babies crawl before they walk or before they can go up and down stairs. So you want to crawl first and then you move up and down. So here I go 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go up 3 places. And I put my dot right here, and I can label it 4, 3. Notice that I put my dot at the intersection of those two kind of lines. Usually you're going to be using graph paper for something like this, or it will already have the grid on it. So sometimes we call this a coordinate grid because it already has grids all over it, but my whiteboard is not that fancy. Okay, and then let's go ahead and move on to -7, -1. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the negative direction, and then I go down 1. So I'm right here at -7, -1. So some people think, okay, so I know the -7 goes here, so I'm going to put a dot here, and I know the negative, it goes here, and then they like draw a line or something to connect them. That's not how you connect them. You connect them by imaginary lines. So I connect them with those imaginary lines. And then I put a point where they intersect. So I put a point right there. Next one, -8, 5. So I go -8, and then I go +5. So here I am at my -8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here is where they intersect. So -8, +5. 4, -2. So I go 4 over, and then I go down -2, and here I am at 4, -2. So you'll notice that I did a different combination each time, and that led to me putting a point in each of the 4 quadrants. So in quadrant 1, this is the quadrant you might have used even in the past, because quadrant 1 is a little bit easier to follow and easier to understand because it's only positive numbers. So over here, I would have a positive and a positive. Over here, in quadrant 2, I go negative first and then positive to end up here. So over here, I have negative and then positive. Over here in quadrant 3, I go negative on the x-axis, and then I also have to go negative on the y-axis to get down here. So this is negative and then another negative. Over here, I have to go in the positive direction on the x side, and then I have to go down negative. So in quadrant 4, I would have a positive number and then a negative number. it's important that you can just look at this set of numbers and know which quadrant it's going to go into. So you can kind of visualize where that would go. Okay, so positive and then positive again, or negative and then positive, negative and then negative, positive and then negative. Okay, so hopefully that was a nice overview of coordinate planes, and you remember all of that vocabulary especially.